Chapter 1. The World of Star Cards. Great Flame Country, Guangchuan City. At the end of January, in the midst of winter. In Guangchuan 4th Middle School, in a classroom of over 40 students in Class 1 of Senior Grade 3, the bespectacled homeroom teacher Yang Jun was explaining the simulated test on the Star Beast Atlas. The last fill-in-the-blank question, the 6-dimensional qualification of the fierce lizard. Yang Jun slightly lowered the test paper he was holding in his left hand, adjusted his glasses with his right hand, and looked up at the students in the class. Speaking of the fierce lizard, it has often appeared on exams in recent years. You need to grasp all its basic information and the corresponding ways to deal with it, not just its 6-dimensional qualification. Who can explain it in detail for us? Seeing Yang Jun's question, the students below lowered their heads quietly. There were tens of thousands of types of star beasts on Blue Sea Star. Even in high school introductory courses, several hundred kinds were covered. The fierce lizard was relatively uncommon among these star beasts. It was manageable to talk about its 6-dimensional qualification, but when it came to its basic information and coping methods, not many people could say it all. Of course, there were a few students in the class who looked confident. They seemed to know the answer but had no intention of standing up to respond. In any classroom, students willing to proactively answer questions were always a minority. Since no one was answering, he would pick a student to answer. Yang Jun's gaze quickly scanned the many students below and furrowed his brows when he saw the student by the window. Sitting in the second-to-last row by the window was a delicate-looking boy with black hair and black eyes. He was quietly staring at his desk's mock test paper. He looked serious, but upon closer inspection, he seemed a bit distracted. Su Yuan, you try to answer. Yang Jun directly named the boy. Su Yuan heard his name and blinked, quickly snapping back to reality. Was he picked by the homeroom teacher? Su Yuan looked at Yang Jun, who was staring at him from the podium. He quickly realized the situation. The teacher had asked a question and, luckily, picked him. However, he had been distracted earlier and didn't know what the question was. Su Yuan slowly stood up. At the same time, his eyes quickly scanned the blackboard. The last line was, fluorescent butterfly gets attracted to tan water wood fragrance. Fluorescent butterfly. Su Yuan's gaze fell on the mock test paper on his desk, and he quickly locked onto the fluorescent butterfly. This was the second-to-last fill-in-the-blank question. Below the fill-in-the-blank questions were short answers, but Yang Jun usually explained the short answers directly without asking questions. Since the fluorescent butterfly had already been discussed, it was probably the last fill-in-the-blank question about the fierce lizard's 6-dimensional attributes. Su Yuan roughly figured it out. As the information about the fierce lizard flashed through his mind and he was about to try answering, a low prompt came from his right side. The basic information and response methods for the fierce lizard. Hearing this prompt, Su Yuan's heart moved. After a brief thought, he began to answer. The fierce lizard, an ordinary grade star beast, has a 6-dimensional qualification of strength, E, agility, F, defense, F, constitution, E, spirit, F, star power, F. It is a star beast with relatively outstanding physique and strength, generally at the star apprentice level or bronze level, never exceeding the silver stage. Its star skills include beginner stage frenzy, ordinary, barbaric sprint, ordinary. It usually lives in forests and swamps. Its weakness is the base of its tail, which is very fragile and causes it to lose balance when severely injured. Good. Very well done. Hearing Su Yuan's detailed and accurate answer, Yang Jun's furrowed brows gradually relaxed, and he appreciatively nodded. Yang Jun looked at Su Yuan and pondered, pay attention in class. Even if you can't awaken your soul card, with your academic performance, you won't be short of opportunities after graduation. Su Yuan replied, thank you, Teacher Yang, for the reminder. Waving to indicate that Su Yuan could sit down, Yang Jun looked at this student who answered his question perfectly but couldn't help but sigh inwardly. Su Yuan, once a prodigy, had broken through to the 6th stage of Star Apprentice in the 2nd semester of his first year, becoming the first 6th stage Star Apprentice in Guangchuan 4th Middle School, gaining much fame and high expectations from the school. But since obtaining his Soul Awakening card at the 6th stage, he had been unable to awaken his soul card, causing his star power cultivation to progress slowly. Now, halfway through his 3rd year, he was only at the 7th stage of Star Apprentice. Meanwhile, the students who he initially surpassed had rapidly caught up after awakening their soul cards, with many reaching the 7th or even 8th stage of Star Apprentice. What a pity! Yang Jun felt sorry for Su Yuan. Nevertheless, this child excelled in all subjects other than star power cultivation, consistently ranking among the top 3 in every academic mock exam. Yang Jun withdrew his gaze and picked up the test paper. Now, the next question, the short answer. Sitting back in his seat, Su Yuan breathed a sigh of relief. That was close. I almost embarrassed myself. Recalling the earlier prompt, Su Yuan turned to his right. Sitting to his right was a neat and capable-looking girl with short red ponytail hair. She sat up straight, casually spinning a black pen in her right hand. Didn't expect Zhang Jun to help me. Su Yuan was a bit surprised. Guangchuan 4th Middle School had 4 Star Apprentice classes and 15 ordinary classes. Among the 4 Star Apprentice classes, only a handful had reached the 8th stage of Star Apprentice so far, all aiming to join the top 20 star power cultivation academies in Great Flame Country. Zhang Jun was one of them. Straightforward and a bit cold, coupled with her elite soul card and strong abilities, she didn't mix well with the girls in class, and the boys didn't dare to mess with her, leaving her without many friends. Su Yuan whispered, "Thanks." Zhang Jun glanced at Su Yuan expressionlessly, then looked back at the podium, showing no other response. This girl's personality is really cold. Su Yuan shook his head, not thinking much more, returning his gaze to the desk while secretly calling, "System." With a slight blur in front of his eyes, a semi-transparent panel that no one else could see appeared before him. Su Yuan. Level: Star Apprentice 7th stage. Soul card: none. Stardust: 9. Card enhancement: 9 points of Stardust. Almost there. By the time class ends at 6, it should recover to 10 points of Stardust. 10 points of Stardust can boost once more. According to the pattern over the past year, this might be the final boost. I've waited so long for this day. Su Yuan's eyes faintly glowed with excitement. The reason he was distracted earlier was also because of this system. Speaking of which, he was originally an ordinary office worker on Earth who had just graduated not long ago. But due to an accident a year ago, he traveled to this world called Blue Sea Star. This place was different from Earth, not only matching Earth in technological advancement but also filled with an extraordinary power called star power. Moving mountains and seas, changing the weather, calling the wind and summoning the rain, traveling miles in an instant. All those things that existed only in myths on Earth were achievable here, even more dramatically. Provided one could master star power. In Blue Sea Star's history, thousands of years ago, the world was ruled by various mythical star beasts. Humans, innately weak, could only struggle to survive in the shadows of these low-stage star beasts, barely maintaining their existence. Until one day, some extraordinary human pioneers created star cards to harness star power. Since then, these pioneers pushed forward, slaying star beasts, driving out alien races, expanding territories, establishing nations, and gradually rising to power, ushering in the era of human dominance. Now, standing proudly in the southeast of Blue Sea Star, Great Flame Country was one of the most powerful nations on this planet. And those who could arm their cards and command star power were known as Star Card Masters. Next chapter. Enjoy this book so far.